Everyone, it's Argonath here from Return of the Fan, and this story has been making the rounds on all the celebrity news websites at the moment. Kirsten Dunst made a remark in one of her interviews for I think one of her upcoming movies about the pay gap between Tobey Maguire and herself from the Spider movies, and it's just kind of taken off a bit because obviously when you talk about gender pay gaps and so on, all of the left-wing media jump on top of it and try and blow it all out of proportion. So let's have a read of this and just see how disingenuous all of these websites are. So this is from news.com.au, but it's pretty much the same sort of message going out to from a lot of the entertainment websites and so on. So Kirsten Dunst reveals extreme pay gap with Tobey Maguire for Spider-Man movies. She talked about the huge pay disparity between her and co-star Tobey Maguire for their hit Superman movies. So before we go on, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like the video, you're welcome to give it a thumbs down. And please subscribe, it just means YouTube will notice my content a bit easier. So let's carry on and have a read about what she said. Kirsten Dunst has spoken out about the extreme salary discrepancies on Spider-Man, claiming co-star Tobey Maguire was paid significantly more money than she was for the 2002 comic book blockbuster. The 39-year-old US actress made the assertion to The Independent. The pay disparity between me and Spider-Man was very extreme. I didn't even think about it, but you know who was on the cover of the second Spider-Man poster? Spider-Man and me. Dunst didn't divulge how much she was paid to play the love interest Mary Jane Watson in the superhero flick, which grossed more than $1 billion at the box. So if you're going to make a claim that there is a huge extreme salary discrepancy, then you better put out what you were paid so we can compare it against Tobey Maguire's, so we can see whether it was actually extreme or not. But it doesn't really matter, right? I mean, is she seriously saying that everyone needs to be paid exactly the same amount of money on the movie? We have to check, don't we have to look at who is the more important character for this particular movie? Yes, Mary Jane is important, but Peter Parker, Spider-Man, is the most important character in a Spider-Man movie. So if he's going to be the most important character, he's probably going to have the most screen time compared to the Mary Jane character. And so he's probably going to be paid more money because of that, right? However, it's been reported that Maguire was paid US $5.4 million for his role as Peter Parker in the debut movie. He then negotiated a salary of US $23.8 million for the 2004 sequel. Unconfirmed reports suggest Dunst was paid US $9.5 million for the sequel. So yes, maybe that is quite a big difference, but again, you have to look at the roles on the actual movie, right? Spider-Man is a far more important character than Mary Jane. Obviously, Mary Jane is important to the story, but she is not the be-all and end-all, right? You could still have a Spider-Man movie without Mary Jane, but you can't have a Spider-Man movie without actual Spider-Man or Peter Parker, can you? Right? So, none of the articles which picked up the story have mentioned anything about the importance of the characters in the movie. It's all about the gender pay gap. Dunst was already a rising star when she signed on for the first film, having shot to fame on the cheerleading film Bring It On, while Maguire was relatively unknown before shooting to fame as the iconic superhero. Both she and Maguire reprised their roles for the third film, which was released in 2007. It's not the first time Dunst had brought up the pay disparity on the Spider-Man movies. Back in 2017, she said her spidey senses were tingling about Maguire being paid more, but she didn't probe the issue seriously. It's not because of the gender pay gap, it's because of the importance of the character to the movie. That's what all of these people that are writing all these bloody articles, there's no mention of it anywhere in any of these articles, right? Because I was young, I thought, oh well, I'm getting paid a lot more money for the Spider-Man movies, but definitely the men were getting paid more. But the pay discrepancy wouldn't stop. Dunst was reviving her role if there was ever. So, did Peter Parker's uncle, so whoever was it, Glenn Ford? I think it was Glenn Ford that played that character in the first movie. Did he get paid more than you, Kirsten Dunst? If you're saying that all the men were getting paid more, right? It comes down to the character in the movie, who is going to be on screen for most of the time. And if someone is not on screen very much, they're not going to be paid a lot of money, even if the character is reasonably important to the story. So it just goes on to talk about her life and so on. So I don't need to go into more about that. I mean, I like Kirsten Dunst as an actress. I liked her character in the Spider-Man movies. Yes, she was an integral part of the movie, but she was not the be-all and end-all of the movie. And so obviously the most important character in the Spider-Man movies was Spider-Man. So of course, Tobey Maguire is going to be paid more for that because he is absolutely critical to the movie of Spider-Man. You can't have a Spider-Man movie with just Mary Jane in it, Kirsten Dunst. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments section. Do you think she's right, that she was basically paid less because she's a woman? Or do you think other factors obviously need to get taken into account when deciding the pay for actors and actresses on a movie? Love to read your comments. Anyway, hopefully I'll catch you in the next video.